Okay, that's go, right?
Let's go.
Okay, so yeah, welcome again to the Just Simply Talks podcast. I almost forgot the name. It's been so long.
We're back. It's been quite a while.
So actually, some feedback we've been getting is I've been sounding very far, and I think we figured out the problem. It's because this wasn't connected. So my laptop is actually like down here, and so the audio that's been being recorded was from the laptop audio, the microphone, not this microphone.
And so really that was just there for show the whole time.
Yeah, I've been talking to this the whole time. It's not even like picking up my sounds. Whatever.
That's what happened. Live and we learn. Also, we've got a camera now.
Yeah, we got a camera.
Got a camera now.
Not a phone.
Yep.
We've been recording on a phone. You're upgrading.
But you know what? The phone recording was pretty good. But here we are, upgrading. You know, he has a mic. We have a camera.
I have a mic that works.
Exactly.
This has been a prop, but now it's actually
now it's real, guys.
Now it's real. Now it's actually working, so you can hear my voice. Okay.
Exactly. So I guess we're just gonna get into it, and I want to ask you. So okay, you work with a team, right? Almost like all the time, I would say. A lot of time. Would you describe yourself as a team guy?
Yeah, I'm a team guy.
Okay.
I would say so.
Okay. Yeah, I think so too. I think you're a team guy too. All right. And so I think a lot of the time, team tensions, or I don't want to say tensions, but I think in the world, problems arise when people don't like the feedback they get, or they take criticism personally. And so, that was something that we were talking about for a while ago. And I wanted to ask you, how is your experience in giving feedback to your team?
Experience in giving feedback to my team?
Yeah.
I guess my experience is, I've had positive and negative. But I think really I only find out if it's positive or negative after a long time, right?
Yeah.
I think with my experience, maybe when I'm someone who's very upfront and blunt, right? I don't like to beat around the bush because that's just a waste of time. It's a waste of everyone's time.
Okay.
Right? It's better. How I would like to get feedback is the same way I would give it. And that's the problem. The problem is some people can't. Some people will take offense to that. And hey, that's just, if that's what it is, then that's what it is, right? But that's how I give feedback. I give feedback in a way it's very blunt. And I just tell people straight up if what they're doing. I usually mention what they're doing right and what they're doing wrong. It's never just you're a piece of shit. What are you doing?
Yeah.
Are you stupid?
Yeah.
It's never been like that. It's always been the good and the bad. But of course, when you give good and the bad, what sticks in their head?
Always the bad.
Always the
bad.
It's
usually the bad.
Usually the bad.
Right.
That's just human nature. It's human nature. You can tell somebody all the good things they did, but when you point out that one bad thing, they're like, oh yeah, that guy's a bitch.
That's true. Because they get fixated on it.
They get fixated on everything.
Yeah.
Everyone is so drawn to the negative, right? And it's not just in feedback, just in anything in life.
Yeah,
I think
that's very true.
I think that's just our human nature.
Yeah, look at the news cycles, right?
Yeah.
I think the reason why everything on the news is negative is because without knowing it or subconsciously, people love to focus on that, right?
It's that's actually something I learned in the weekend. Actually, they said the reason why it's so negative because negative and fear sells. That sells. Those headlines sell. Right?
True.
If we said, hey guys, look, we're planting 25 trees, right? It's this elementary school kids went to plant 25 trees.
Yeah, it's great.
Okay, sure.
Right?
But if the news said, guys, the world is fucking ending.
Yeah.
The world's ending, and it's because of these COVID vaccines.
Yeah, everything's tuning in.
Everyone's tuning in. Right? And it's the same thing with a negative, just negativity in general. So like you said, it's very fixated on it. But yeah, when it comes to feedback, for myself, I would love people just to tell me up front.
Okay.
Right?
That's true. So for yourself, you would love people to tell you up front because, you kind of know how to not take it personally, right? And instead focus on reality, what's in front of you, what you can improve on, right? But how would you say you get around, because most people take it personally, right? I, sometimes took it personally before, and that's just what happens. It's human nature. We do that, right? So what is your way, or do you have a way of trying to get around that when it comes to providing people with feedback?
for them to not take it personally. I think that's where I'm still trying to grow as a leader. It's not perfect yet. I've known in the past. I do know when I did it the wrong way. Usually after I've done it, I'm like,
that didn't go well.
That did not go well. That did not go well. So I'm someone who's still improving in terms of that. But I guess like what I would like to do forward is I think I was actually on a coaching call with one of the Tony Robbins coach.
Okay.
She said that like if you're gonna, when you give feedback, don't just if you say all the positives, but then you say but, you use that word but, and then you start talking about the negatives, that word but cancels out all the positives. That's what she told me.
You know what? That's kind of true.
That's what she told me. And I'm like, oh shit, I use buts a lot.
Yeah.
Right? And I'm like, oh damn. So I've been like literally all my positive feedback gone.
Yeah.
Gone. So she said instead of using but, say and. That's what she said. I'm like, okay, so that's where I gotta grow now. I gotta, instead of using buts, I gotta say and.
That's true. I mean, think about it. Because but means it's coming after, and it kind of just erases everything you said before, right? So you said you did great, but then it sounds like your greatness didn't matter because this happened.
Exactly. But that's the thing. I wasn't conscious of it, right? I wasn't conscious of it, and again, why am I more conscious of it now? Why am I going to grow better in giving feedback? It's because I accepted the feedback.
Yeah.
Right? I accept the feedback. I told her, I'm like, can you judge how I give feedback to others? Actually, she's like, okay, how, like, let's say I'm one of your team members. Yeah. How would you give me feedback in the sense of like, you're trying to say something I did wrong. And then I was just going on with what I usually say. And then she's like, stop right there. Use the one word that cancels out everything. I'm like, really? I'm like, I didn't even notice. And she told me what it was. I'm like, damn, that's crazy. So it looks like for the last 24 years, I've been giving feedback the wrong way. Right. So I think that's just a lesson. It's a lesson that I've learned in the last, actually, this was just last week, actually. So, hey, I'm so
fresh on your mind.
Yeah, fresh on my mind. Fresh on my mind in terms of feedback. But at the same time, like in terms of feedback we've gotten, a lot of people have said but to us. But sure. But how come we don't take it personally anymore as much?
That's definitely true. I think for me at least, because our nature is to take it personally, right? When somebody says something to you that's a negative, right? I think the first response is to like, oh my God, they're attacking me.
All the time.
Right? Like this is against me.
It's against me, yeah.
Right? Because we're kind of like, we're driven by our emotions. All right. Sure. Well, nature is, it's nature to us to be driven by our emotions. And so I think, initially, if you're not actively working on that, that's what happens, right? You get feedback or criticism or anything, and the first thing you think of is an attack on me. All right. But I think that, we've tried to kind of look past that and not think about it in an emotional or personal way. Right? Because when you put things into the perspective of how can I serve, like you do, right? How can I give value? How can I serve? And you think about the way you're reacting, you start to think, well, this isn't serving anyone if I get mad about this, right? This isn't helping anyone if I get mad about this. And the best way to keep giving value, the best way to keep serving is for me to improve, for me to get better. And then, the criticism, the feedback becomes exactly our way of improving, of knowing where we need to improve. And so I think when you have that mindset like you do of putting value first and giving first, then you start to make everything about more than just yourself.
Yeah. And I think when it comes to feedback, honestly, this is how I view it. Like if I'm not giving you feedback, I'm honestly doing you a disservice, because then like how can you grow?
That's true,
right? Because like there's only so much things you can see on your point of view, right? Right, and that's why you need other people to sometimes point some stuff out.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, like even with this podcast, if whoever's listening, right, don't be scared. Tell us what we're doing wrong.
This is why we appreciate feedback.
We appreciate feedback. We're not gonna take it personally. If you said like, bro, your outfit sucks, I'm like, okay, I'm buying some clothes.
It's okay. I'm already aware of that, so don't worry about it.
Right. But like, But like, I appreciate feedback, man. However blunt it is, don't be scared, right? Because honestly, this is what I truly believe. If you're not giving, if someone's not giving you feedback, they don't care about you. They do not care about you. That's what I truly believe. Because like, if someone really cares about me, right, they're gonna want the best for me. Sometimes the best is what I'm not doing at that moment. So they gotta criticize me. For example, right, my mom, or like your mom too.
Yeah,
I think a lot of people's parents, right, we feel so attacked by them sometimes, right? But why do they give you why do they give you feedback? Because they really want the best for you. They really do. That's why they say the shit they say. Yeah. Right? That's why they do it. It's from the bottom. They can say it better. Is there a better way to say it? Yes. But you got to think about it. They care about you. That's what I started to realize with feedback is the people who care are the people who give you feedback because they want you to grow. They want you to be better. They don't want you to be a lazy ass. They don't want you to stay in the exact same place you were last year.
Exactly.
Right? So that's why for me, like I care for people. If I care for you, I'll give you feedback. At the moment I stop giving you feedback, then I probably, probably don't care.
He doesn't care.
No, I still care for people, but some people, I got to pick and choose because some people just, they don't want it. So if they don't want it, then I'm like, okay, fine. I don't need to give it to you. That's okay. Right. Like that's my goal in life is not to give feedback to everybody. It's to give feedback to the people who want it.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, I think in any scenario, in any case, even whether it's about feedback or just even coaching in general or any service, you can't give it to someone if they don't want it.
No.
Right? Because no matter what it is, they have to be willing to accept it.
Yeah, right? Exactly. There's no point in giving feedback or coaching to someone who doesn't want it because they're not going to change.
Exactly.
They're going to take it personal and they'll be like,
yeah.
Fuck that guy.
Exactly. It works the same way in sales too, right?
Yeah.
Ultimately, you can't sell something to someone if they don't want it.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? It doesn't work that way. And so when it comes to feedback, this is just my, I was just thinking about it. And I think a lot of it has to do with a lot of negative experiences when it comes to feedback has to do with ego, right? Or it kind of comes from a place of selfishness in a sense. And I think that also relates to like confidence. And I'll explain why. I'll explain why. Because, okay, let's start with feedback, right? We're talking about selfishness and why I think that problems arise when it comes to feedback. And we already talked about this. It's because you're not thinking of other people. You're not thinking of giving, right? All you're thinking of is kind of yourself and how it's an attack on you and how you feel about it, right? And I know this is like a little off topic, but like I would say the same goes for confidence and why people aren't confident.
I think I would 100% agree.
And I'm not saying people are, well, actually I think everyone is innately like a little selfish. Of course, people want to look out for themselves, right? It's natural for us to think of ourselves, right?
Yeah, it is.
But I think when it comes to confidence, what happens when people are not confident in doing something, they don't want to do something, is because they're too busy thinking about themselves and the way they look and how they're perceived, right? How's this person going to think about me? How is the world looking at me? How are they looking at me? How will I look? And like when that happens, then you start to shy away from doing things, right? And you start to get unconfident. And let's just take like public speaking, for example. It's like 95% of people are afraid of that stuff, right?
Yeah.
And so, or let's use myself and this podcast as an example.
Yeah, a lot of people wouldn't.
Yeah, like I did not want to do this because all I could think of is like, oh my God, how am I going to sound?
What are people going to say about me?
Yeah, exactly. And that is, when I think about it, is kind of like a selfish way to think, because instead of thinking about the value that I could possibly provide, instead of thinking about what goes outward, instead of thinking about what people get, all I'm thinking about is myself and how I will look, how I will feel.
Yeah.
And that's why I think selfishness kind of goes hand in hand. Ego kind of goes hand in hand with a lack of confidence, and the same way with a lack of positive reactions to feedback. Right? They're thinking about it personally as an attack.
Yeah. When
really, if you look past that, if you think about the value you're trying to give to others, then you'll really see feedback as an opportunity to give more.
To give more and to grow.
Exactly.
To grow as an individual. And like in terms of feedback, like, I'm not, in terms of receiving it, I'm not perfect.
Oh yeah,
right?
I'm definitely
I'm not perfect. But even though I know it's to make me grow, sometimes I still feel like, sometimes I do feel like it's an attack. Sometimes I do, but maybe just for that moment it's said to me. But then later down the line, whether it's like a couple hours or maybe a day or a week from the initial time I get the feedback, I really start to like look into it. I'm like, you know what? Maybe there's something there.
Yeah.
Maybe there's something there. They're saying it for a reason. It didn't come out of nowhere. Is there something I'm missing that maybe I just don't understand?
Yeah.
Right. Sometimes it takes me, it has to marinate a little for me.
Of course.
Yeah. But the goal is, whenever I do get feedback, is what can I learn from this?
Yeah.
Right. Is it, I gotta look in the mirror first.
For sure.
Right. I gotta look in the mirror first, and if I notice that, it's nothing wrong with me, it's on them. But I'll look at me first.
Yeah.
Right. But I think one thing to notice is that don't think all feedback is good feedback too. Right.
That's true. No, you definitely have to be conscious about where it's coming from and how it can be applied, and also the other person's perception, so and so. Right. It's not just about. Like, accepting feedback isn't just about taking it all and just doing it, right?
You gotta understand who's giving it to you.
Yeah, exactly. Right? You consider where it's coming from. You consider all things considered, and you see how it applies to you.
Exactly.
Right?
All things. Yeah. That's something else as well. Like, when someone gives you feedback, don't just accept it. It depends on who they are, right? Like, for example, like, the funny, let me go into this, kind of controversial, but I see a lot of people, like, feedback and advice are kind of similar. Not really.
There's a lot of advice out there.
A lot of advice there. Some people give feedback to other people's relationships, right? Feedback or advice. And then sometimes I look at the person giving the feedback, I'm like, what the hell? like you haven't been in a relationship for more than a year and you're trying to give people advice and feedback. I'm like, what the hell?
See that? Yeah, that's, you have to consider where it's coming from, right?
It's like, starts to get hypocritical, right?
Yeah, and exactly. It's like I feel like as long as you're in the mindset of yes, you can learn something from anyone and anything, you start to dissect what is kind of good to learn and what isn't, right? Yeah. I mean, for example, I try to do everything with that mindset of learning and growing with everything that I do interactive I hear from, even if it's like upfront not the best or whatever, right? But you can't, there's more things to be learned than what's at surface level, right? So even if someone's giving you like, let's say for example, someone gave me like the worst feedback ever.
Yeah.
And I'll still be like, okay, like thank you. I guess I appreciate it. But like, even if I don't take it, I'll still learn something from what they said, whether it's how not to give feedback or
you'll learn something. Yeah. Like, again, that's also like that growth mindset, right? Like any experience you have, you're always trying to learn from it.
Yeah.
Right.
And so I feel like that naturally, if you have that mindset about things, then naturally you will learn to accept feedback in a positive way. In a positive way. Right. And you'll naturally be able to dissect, what's good feedback, what isn't that good feedback, and what you can learn instead in those situations.
But I also like going, and I'm going to explain this as well. The thing is, like, I tell people, yo, give me feedback. Tell me when I'm doing something wrong. And yet people don't do it. People never tell me. They tell me when it's too late.
Yeah, it's like, oh, you should have done that.
Yes, I should have done that. Why don't you tell me in the moment? What the heck? We could have been fixed at the moment, but you didn't want to give it to me because you were scared I was gonna maybe get mad. And again, it goes back to like how other people feel. Because I love feedback. I also love giving feedback and receiving feedback. Some people don't like receiving feedback, so that's why they're very hesitant.
They're hesitant to give it
as well.
Yeah, because they don't want to make someone else feel how they felt.
Exactly.
Right? And so they'll be like, I'm just not going to say anything.
I think if you are not, I really believe if you're not giving feedback to the people you love, you don't really love them as much as you say you do, because there's you're stopping them from growth.
It's true.
Right? You can't, like even for me and you, right? Like we've gotten feedback from people better than us, right? And
for sure.
I remember like there's a time where I'm like, yo, like I hate this, man. I hate this. I hate feeling like feeling down. But then at some point it clicked. I'm like, what can I learn from this? And now looking back at it, I'm like, man, like there was nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
Because it pushed me to grow. I realized that when I got feedback, I moved. I did something different. Right? It's when I didn't get any feedback, I just stayed the exact same person.
Yeah.
Right.
And I feel like even now, like it's still subconsciously there. Like even in things where like I wouldn't obviously be mad about it, but people will like say something that is actually genuinely very helpful, and then I'll of course I'll like center myself and be like, thank you, right? And I'll apply it, and you know, I'll appreciate the feedback.
Wow.
But sometimes when it's happening, like I catch it subconsciously. I'm like, I don't want to hear it. Like I don't I don't want to hear it.
I don't want to hear it. Yeah, subconsciously.
You know, and then I catch myself, I'm like, no, this is good. This is good. Right? So like it happens. It's natural, I think. Right? But you have to, you know, it's something you have to consciously work at, being able to positively accept feedback and apply it.
Yeah, and apply it for sure. Definitely. Yeah. And I think when we've been talking about feedback in terms of like receiving, it's like we've been talking a lot about like negative feedback. Yeah. Right. But then again, when it comes to positive feedback, I think that's something for me personally I need to give more of. Definitely. Instead of the buts, say and. Yeah. That way I don't cancel out everything I just said. That's something that I've learned that I need to continue to do. And like anybody here who wants to give feedback to anybody else, right? Don't say but. Say and. Say and. It will help a lot because you won't be canceling out everything you've been saying up until that point.
Yeah. And the thing I do is, well, like I didn't know about the whole and thing. Yeah. But I did know about the but because like you feel it, right? You feel it. It's like, yeah, it does not matter all the good stuff he said before because this is what matters, right? Like you said, this. Yeah, but so like what I've tried to do is just like reverse it. Right? Like I'll say like, okay, let's start with the things that you could improve on. And then I'll do that and I'll be like, but you did this great. It was awesome.
Okay,
right?
That works too.
So I don't know how you feel about that, but I like that. Okay, I said but. No, but a problem I might have with that is like
they forget the bad.
Yeah, exactly. They forget where they need to improve. It's like, yeah, that was blessed. Right? But you know, typically that's not what happens, right?
Yeah, typically that's not what happens. Again. But yeah, start using ands. Yeah. Start using ands, and now in the head it's just like, oh yeah, I did this stuff good, and I also did this. These are things I need to obviously improve on. Can I work on both? Can I do the things I'm doing good right now? Can I make it better? Yeah. Things that I need to improve on, can I change and do something different so I don't make that same mistake? Yeah. But yeah, I mean, like that's episode. What episode is this?
This is we are doing 4. This is 4. This is episode 4.
Yeah, I mean, no, this is good. Yeah, yeah, we're good. I think this is the end of the episode. You have anything else to add though? Maybe one more thing.
Not really. I'm hoping for some feedback from you guys after this.
I'm hoping for some feedback. Okay. Tell us what we did wrong. Actually, honestly, like, don't even tell us what we did right. We already know. Tell us what we did wrong, because that's where we really grow.
I need the right.
You need the positive one? Right? You need maybe use and.
Use and.
Use and. Tell us what we did right. Tell us what we did wrong. Tell us where we can improve, because that's just how we grow, right? I think, me and Tyler and like a lot of people around us, we're in this like growth. How can we get to that next level?
Yeah, for sure.
And there's so much you can do when you're looking at life through your point of view. That's why we need other people to come and help us, right? And so even for anybody else, yourself, right? In life, it's hard to grow by yourself. There's only you can only go so far. For sure. And I think the perfect quote again is, if you want to go fast, go alone, but if you want to go far, go together.
Yeah.
Right. So find the people that you want to surround yourself with that is not scared to give you feedback, right? Both positive and negative. That way you can get to the next level in all aspects in life, financially, in your relationships, in your health, spiritually. Yeah. Right. All aspects.
Anywhere.
Of life. Yeah. Anywhere.
Find those people and surround yourself with them.
Yeah. Surround yourself with those people. So us, not joking. Nah, I'm just playing.
Not playing. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
But if you guys want to play golf, we'll play. Yeah, it's come true, you know. let's swing. We still need to go.
Yeah, no, we'll go.
Okay. Anyways, this is the end of the podcast episode, whatever this is.
4.
Yes, episode 4. And yeah, we'll see you on the next episode.
Yes, sir.